Waterfront Regeneration and the Role of Mixed-Use Development, a Case Study Approach, the London Docklands and Bremen. Waterfronts have been the topic of academic debate since the 1960s, and it has now developed its own discipline. The revitalisation of waterfronts are increasingly being seen as an opportunity to recreate the image of a city, to gain economic investment and to draw people to these spaces of redundancy. The redevelopment and use of obsolete industrial spaces along waterfronts has become a great challenge and opportunity for many cities around the world. The best public spaces allow inclusion of multiple meanings at all levels of society. Rowe, 1997, points out that the alternative can be exclusive, corporately owned, dominated spaces. This video explores how successful the regeneration of London Docklands and Bremen were, and how they have and haven't been socially inclusive. It is important to remember that urban development should not just be for profit, but that it should benefit humanity as well as the planet. Urban waterfront regeneration is vital in post-industrial city space making. Some of the biggest waterfront revitalisations include London's Canary Wharf, New York's Battery Park City, Vancouver's Granville Island and Sydney's Darling Harbour. This video, however, is concerned with the regeneration of the London Docklands and Bremen. In order to explore some of the themes of regeneration, a comparison will be made of the regeneration of the London Docklands and Bremen, focusing particularly on the role that mixed-use development can play. The concept of a waterfront renaissance was established in the 1980s. It has been suggested that waterfront revitalisation projects have brought about wide social, economic and environmental benefits to declining urban areas. However, in some such projects it has been argued that clear social disbenefits have arisen. For example, in the case of the LDDC's London Dockland Regeneration. London was once the busiest port in the world, employing over 10,000 people. The first docks were built in 1802 and facilitated the import, storage and export of commodities such as sugar, coffee and tobacco. In the 1960s and 70s, the shipping industry adopted containerisation. The London Docklands were unable to accommodate the much larger vessels. The shipping industry therefore moved to the deep water ports of Tilbury and Felixstowe. London's docks fell into decline and these spaces became derelict. By the 1980s, the Docklands was characterised by unemployment, overcrowding, poor Victorian housing and a lack of services for the community. This created a need for regeneration. In 1981, the London Docklands Development Corporation was set up to improve economic and transport systems, to improve the environment by restoring derelict land and to clear up the docks, and finally to provide housing and improve social conditions. The regeneration of London Docklands has created winners and losers. Although the LDDC have created thousands of new jobs, they have been criticised for having a disregard for the locals and causing social unrest. The locals were pushed further out because they couldn't afford the new expensive apartments. In addition, the LDDC were also criticised because they didn't create jobs for the unskilled old dockers. Instead, the jobs were catered towards the new yuppie population, who did not mix terribly well with the locals, which resulted in a lack of community spirit. The regeneration of the London Docklands is testament to how planning and design intentions are undermined by the concern of power and capital.